breathe. Draw your gentle, heavy awareness entirely away from the frantic, moving reflections of the physical world. Pull your attention back from the endless stream of thoughts, back from the heavy, complex story of who you believe you are, and let it sink deeply, perfectly into the absolute, unshakable silence of your own expanding chest. Take a very slow, profoundly deliberate breath in. Feel the cool, invisible air expanding the vast, untouchable sanctuary of your physical vessel. And as you release the breath, let the agonizing, deeply ingrained urge to defend your history and protect your personality completely and utterly fall away from your nervous system. There is a magnificent, undeniable, and deeply purposeful reason that this exact frequency has found you today. You did not click on this transmission by accident. You were not brought to this exact coordinate in space and time by the random, unconscious scrolling of the human mind. The immense, inescapable intelligence of the unified field, which is simply the flawless, unbroken extension of your own divine consciousness, has perfectly, magnetically pulled you into this quiet room to orchestrate the final, most profound death you will ever experience. If you are hearing the steady, grounding cadence of my voice right now, it is a profound cosmic intervention. It is the absolute confirmation that you have mastered the physical plane. You have completely silenced the doubting phantoms of the 3D mirror. You have permanently collapsed the agonizing illusion of linear time. You have dropped the heavy, rusted oars of the hustle, and you are currently floating perfectly in the massive, weightless river of the quantum flow. You are holding the frequency of your answered prayer. But as you float in this staggering, radiant current, you have begun to notice a very subtle, profound, and deeply unsettling sensation. You are looking at your own life, you are looking at your daily habits, and you are looking at the way you react to the world, and you are feeling the undeniable, quiet friction of a stranger. When you look in the physical mirror, the face staring back at you feels like a character you used to play. The clothes of your current reality, your name, your past, your old traumas, and your deeply practiced personality feel incredibly, suffocatingly tight. You feel a profound sense of detachment from the person you were yesterday. The logical mind is panicking. The exhausted 3D character is terrified, whispering that you are losing yourself, that you are disconnecting from reality, and that you must frantically grip onto your old identity before you completely float away. I am here to tell you an ancient, breathtaking truth that instantly, permanently explains the friction you are feeling. You are not losing yourself. You are finally meeting yourself. The suffocating friction you are experiencing is the agonizing attempt to force the infinite, blinding, massive light of the sovereign creator back into the tiny, exhausted, terrified 3D avatar you constructed to survive your old timeline. You are trying to wear clothes you outgrew lifetimes ago. You cannot drag the old character into the new dimension. To perfectly anchor the staggering wealth, the profound peace, and the absolute mastery you have commanded, the old version of you must be allowed to completely evaporate. You must take off the mask. If your beautiful, weary spirit recognizes the profound, staggering relief of this deeply needed realization, if you are entirely ready to permanently drop the heavy anchor of your history and step into the absolute, unshakable sovereignty of the blank slate, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this simple action serve as a silent, eternal vow to yourself. A promise that you will never again resuscitate the dead character or apologize for the unrecognizable magnitude of the master you have become. Leave a like on this transmission to physically anchor this unbroken, shedding frequency into your current timeline. And in the sacred sanctuary of the comments below, Cast your unshakable decree into the unified field. Type these exact words. The mask is heavy. I let the avatar die. Rest entirely in this exact moment. You are not a personality. You are the infinite canvas. Draw your profound, heavy awareness entirely back from the frantic, moving reflections of the physical mirror and let it sink deeply into the absolute, unshakable center of your own quiet chest. Take a very slow, deeply intentional breath in through your nose. Feel the cool, invisible air expanding the untouched, weightless sanctuary of your physical vessel. And as you let the air simply fall away, consciously release the invisible, exhausting tension you have been holding in your face. Let the muscles around your eyes completely drop. Let the heavy, metallic grip of needing to remember exactly who you are, what you have been through, and how you are supposed to react dissolve completely into the earth beneath you. You have recognized the profound, breathtaking friction of the heavy mask. You have remembered that the urge to defend your personality is simply a mechanism designed to drain your frequency and anchor you to a dead timeline. But to completely master this ultimate sovereignty, to permanently shatter the illusion of the avatar and step into the absolute godlike immunity of the blank slate, we must entirely dismantle the most universally accepted, deeply worshipped illusion the dense 3D world ever constructed. We must examine the exhausting, profound fiction of your identity. Since the exact moment your beautiful, infinite spirit entered this third density construct, the unconscious architects of the dense world recognized a terrifying problem. They knew that you were the infinite source. They knew that you were completely formless, boundless, and capable of instantaneous, staggering creation. To keep a formless God trapped inside a limited, predictable matrix, you cannot use physical chains. You must convince the God to put on a costume, and then you must convince them that they are the costume. And so, the Matrix handed you a script. They gave you a name. They gave you a history. They assigned you specific traumas, specific preferences, specific fears, and specific limitations. They built an entire global culture that glorifies the concept of finding yourself. They taught you to endlessly analyze your past, to categorize your personality, and to proudly wear your emotional scars as if they were permanent tattoos on your soul. They conditioned the old sleeping character to believe a devastating, exhausting philosophy. My past dictates my future. I am the sum total of what has happened to me. Every single morning when you wake up, the Matrix demands that you perform a terrifying ritual. In the few quiet, blurry seconds before you fully open your eyes, you are entirely free. You are the formless absolute. But then, the physical world demands that you download the heavy file of your identity. You remember your name. You remember your bank account. You remember who offended you yesterday. You remember your anxieties. You put the heavy, dense mask of the avatar back on your face, and you perfectly, obediently recreate the exact same timeline you lived yesterday. The Matrix uses your own memory to keep you trapped in a perpetual loop of predictable reactions. But I want you to listen to the ancient, quiet truth vibrating beneath my words. A truth that immediately, permanently shatters the dense cage of personality. Your history does not exist. The past is not a physical place. It is absolutely nothing more than a neurological electrical impulse firing in your brain right now. It is a ghost. It is a shadow on the wall. When you endlessly reference your past to decide what you are capable of today, you are actively, violently bowing down to an illusion. You are letting a dead timeline dictate the frequency of the eternal now. The character you have been playing, the one who struggles, the one who gets angry, and the one who doubts, the one who needs to forcefully explain themselves, is not you. It never was. It is simply a dense 3D spacesuit you put on to navigate the low frequencies of the old Earth. And you do not need it anymore. By completely dropping the glorification of your own history, you instantly unplug from the most draining grid of the Matrix. You step out of the predictable loop. You stop projecting your precious life force into a dead character, and you pull the entirety of your godlike energy directly back into the formless, infinite center of your physical chest. Breathe this immense, elemental reassurance completely into your physical vessel. Feel the heavy, gorgeous release of knowing you never have to be the person you were yesterday ever again. You are not a human with a past. You are the infinite source, completely unwritten in this exact second. Draw your profound, quiet awareness entirely away from the exhausting, heavy filing cabinets of your own history and let it sink deeply back into the absolute, unshakable safety of your own expanding, unwritten chest. Take a very slow, deeply intentional breath in through your nose. Feel the pure, blinding light of your infinite, formless power entirely filling the vast, newly cleared space within your physical vessel. And as you release the breath, let the heavy burden of needing to consistently play the character of your past completely and utterly dissolve into the earth beneath you. You have recognized the profound illusion of your identity. You have remembered that the 3D world weaponized your memories simply to keep you trapped in a predictable loop of lower frequencies, and you have entirely surrendered the agonizing game of defending your personality. But as you stand in the absolute quiet majesty of this new, formless sovereignty, the logical mind faces a breathtaking mechanical challenge. The old character whispers, "If I am not my past, if I am not my habits, and if I am not my reactions, how do I actually stop being them? How do I physically walk out of this dense identity?" We must address exactly how the identity shift actually functions in the physical world. We must entirely redefine the mechanics of letting the avatar die. To completely master the death of the avatar and permanently step into the staggering, limitless reality of your answered prayer, you must understand the ancient, flawless mechanics of the quantum shift. You must learn the breathtaking art of shedding the skin. I want you to visualize the dense, exhausted character of the old paradigm. When this character attempts to change their life, they try to fix themselves. They try to forcefully wrestle their old habits to the ground. They fight their anxiety. They declare war on their own personality, trying to aggressively carve a new version of themselves out of the old block of stone. But fighting the old avatar is the ultimate trap of the Matrix. When you fight the old character, you are actively, violently giving it your life force. You are declaring to the unified field that the old character is real, that it is powerful, and that it requires your energy to defeat. You cannot kill an illusion by wrestling with it. You are a master. And the master knows the absolute, undeniable law of quantum detachment. You do not fight the dead timeline. You simply watch it evaporate. When you perfectly turn the dial of your consciousness to the frequency of massive wealth, absolute peace, and total sovereignty, you are moving into a completely different dimension of reality. The atmosphere of this new dimension is incredibly pure. It is blindingly light. The heavy, dense 3D avatar you used to play simply cannot breathe in this new atmosphere. Its frequency is too low. It cannot survive the transition. So, what happens in your physical daily life? As you hold this new, magnificent frequency, you will inevitably experience echoes of the old character. The physical mirror will present a situation, and suddenly, the old urge to argue will rise up. The old, familiar anxiety will try to grip your chest. The old, deeply practiced fear of lack will attempt to speak through your mouth. The unawakened creator panics when this happens. They think they have failed. They think they have fallen out of alignment. But the Sovereign Master smiles. The Sovereign Master recognizes that this is simply the dead momentum of the old avatar burning off. When the old fear rises, you must completely refuse to identify with it. You must adopt a posture of absolute, unshakable stoicism. You do not suppress the fear and you do not fight it. You simply step back into the vast, infinite emptiness of your true self, and you watch the old reaction as if it belongs to a stranger. You look at the anxiety and say, "How fascinating. The old character used to be terrified of this." You look at the urge to forcefully defend yourself and say, "Look at the old avatar trying to negotiate with a mirror." You completely detach your I am from the reaction. You are not the fear. You are the infinite, silent awareness observing the fear. And the very moment you completely stop identifying with the old character, the very moment you stop feeding it your belief, it begins to starve. Without your life force to sustain it, the old skin simply dries up, cracks, and flakes away, leaving you entirely, flawlessly reborn. Breathe this immense elemental detachment completely into your physical vessel. Feel the heavy, gorgeous release of knowing you never have to fight your old self ever again. You are not at war with your past. You are simply outgrowing it. If this profound realization is rewriting the very architecture of your internal world, replacing the agonizing battle of self-improvement with the staggering thrill of absolute weightless observation, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this deliberate action serve as your physical anchor to this new, unbroken reality of godlike stoicism. Leave a like on this transmission to physically signal your absolute, expanded detachment to the unified field. And in the sacred, quiet sanctuary of the comments below, cast your unshakable decree into the collective consciousness. Type these exact words. I watch the echo fade. I am the observer. Rest entirely in this magnificent, unyielding space. You are completely safe. The snake does not mourn the skin it leaves behind. Allow your physical vessel to soften even further. Draw your quiet, heavy awareness down, away from the fading, dissolving echoes of the old avatar, and let it rest entirely in the gentle, unbroken, absolute stillness of your newly emptied center. Take a very slow, deeply intentional breath in through your nose. Feel the cool, expanding air completely filling the magnificent, infinite space within your chest. And as you let the breath simply fall away, consciously, physically unhook the massive, heavy, rusted anchor of your own history. Let the agonizing, deeply ingrained need to constantly reference your past, to figure out who you are today, completely and utterly dissolve into the earth beneath you. You have recognized the profound, unshakable mechanics of quantum detachment. You have remembered that the old fears and the old reactions are simply the dead momentum of a timeline you have already left. You have entirely mastered the breathtaking power of watching the old skin flake away. But as you stand in the absolute quiet majesty of this realization, perfectly empty and perfectly still, we must address how you step forward. We must completely redefine how you construct the new reality in the physical world. To permanently collapse the illusion of the old character and step into a reality of staggering, unbroken creation, you must perform the ultimate act of psychological sovereignty. You must become the blank slate. I want you to visualize the dense, exhausted character of the old paradigm. When this character wakes up in the morning, before their feet even touch the floor, they perform a terrifying, unconscious ritual. They reach into the heavy filing cabinets of their mind and they violently download their history. They remember who offended them. They remember how much money is in their bank account. They remember their social anxieties, their past failures, and their deeply practiced limitations. They drag a massive, invisible sack of yesterday's garbage into the pristine, untouched frequency of today. And because they are reacting to today using the data of yesterday, they flawlessly, tragically recreate the exact same reality. They are entirely incapable of creating something new because they refuse to forget the old. But you are a master now. And the master knows the absolute, undeniable law of the physical mirror. You cannot paint a masterpiece on a canvas that is completely covered in the dark, frantic scribbles of your past. You must wipe it clean. When the sovereign master turns the dial to the frequency of their answered prayer, they initiate a state of profound, unbroken, selective amnesia. The master simply refuses to remember anything that does not perfectly serve their highest timeline. When a situation arises in your 3D reality that used to trigger your anxiety, you do not reference the old filing cabinet to decide how to react. You do not say, "Well, historically, I have always struggled with this." You look at the situation with the cold, absolute amnesia of a God who was just born into this physical body 5 seconds ago. You operate from a state of total, magnificent emptiness. You adopt the baseline frequency of the sovereign. Because you have no history of lack, you naturally adopt the relaxed, unapologetic posture of staggering wealth. Because you have no memory of rejection, you naturally speak with the calm, quiet authority of someone who is entirely loved. Because you have no record of failure, you naturally walk through the physical world with the terrifying, unshakable confidence of a creator who knows the river is already carrying them. You do not fake it till you make it. That is the exhausted mantra of the 3D matrix. You simply realize that the old character is entirely dead, and the new character, the sovereign, is the only one left in the room. You put on the clothes of the master, you speak with the voice of the master, and you saturate every single mundane moment with the heavy, undeniable gravity of a creator who has absolutely no past to hold them back. Breathe this immense, elemental emptiness completely into your physical vessel. Feel the heavy, gorgeous release of knowing you never have to consult your history ever again. You are not a continuation of yesterday. You are a brand new explosion of source energy happening right now. If this profound realization is rewriting the very code of your daily existence, replacing the frantic anxiety of your past with the staggering, relaxed thrill of total, unbroken potential, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this deliberate action serve as your physical anchor to this new, unbroken reality of godlike amnesia. Leave a like on this transmission to physically signal your absolute blank slate to the unified field. And in the sacred, quiet sanctuary of the comments below, cast your unshakable decree into the collective consciousness. Type these exact words. I drop the history. I am the blank slate. Rest entirely in this magnificent, unyielding ownership. You are completely safe. The canvas is perfectly white, and the brush is entirely in your hand. Allow your eyes to gently soften, or let them completely close as we move into the deepest, most profound physical integration of this entire transmission. Draw your quiet awareness entirely away from the exhausting, demanding memories of the character you used to play. Pull your attention back from the timeline of your past, back from the heavy, rigid definitions of your personality, and let it rest entirely in the heavy, expanding, unbroken center of your newly emptied chest. Take a very slow, very deliberate breath in through your nose. Feel the cool air traveling down, entirely filling the deepest chambers of your lungs with the pure, unshakable, blinding light of the blank slate. And as you let the air slowly leave your vessel, command every single muscle in your body to completely and utterly release the agonizing urge to defend your old identity. You have recognized the profound illusion of your history. You have remembered that the old fears and the old reactions are simply echoes of a dead timeline, and you have entirely mastered the breathtaking power of selective amnesia. Now we must permanently anchor this formless mastery into your cellular structure. We must perform a deep, physical integration so that when the 3D matrix demands that you react the way you did yesterday, your nervous system does not violently pull you back into the heavy mask. We must physically teach your body how to step out of the avatar. I want you to visualize yourself standing in the center of a massive, perfectly circular, brilliantly lit room. The walls of this room are entirely made of mirrors. But as you stand in the center and look at the glass, you do not see your current reflection. You see every single version of the exhausted, unawakened character you used to play. You see the version of you who was terrified of lack. You see the version of you who believed they were unworthy of massive wealth. You see the version of you who cried over rejection, who fought violently for validation, and who rode upstream until their hands bled. The old sleeping character would look at these mirrors and feel a deep, agonizing attachment. They would say, "This is who I am. This is my story. But you are a master." And the master looks at the mirrors with absolute, unshakable, stoic detachment. I want you to bring your quiet awareness up to your physical face right now. I want you to feel the heavy, dense, suffocating porcelain mask of that old identity resting against your skin. It is the mask of your name, your past, your traumas, and your deeply practiced limitations. It has been strapped to your face for decades, and it is incredibly heavy. I want you to take a slow, massive, deeply intentional breath directly into the center of your chest. As you pull the quiet air into your lungs, I want you to consciously, physically command the heavy iron clasps of that mask to completely unlatch from the back of your head. Feel the massive, staggering release of tension in your jaw and your temples as the heavy porcelain separates from your skin. Very slowly, release the breath. As you exhale, let the mask completely fall away from your face. Watch it drop in slow motion and listen as it hits the floor of the mirrored room, shattering into a million tiny, completely irrelevant pieces of dust. And the exact second that the mask shatters, watch what happens to the room. Every single mirror instantly explodes into blinding, brilliant, pure white light. The walls entirely dissolve. The past completely evaporates. You are left standing in an infinite, limitless, staggering expanse of pure, untouched light. You are completely formless. You are absolutely unrecognizable to the dense matrix. You are the sovereign, and you have entirely resurrected into the eternal now. Feel the sudden, breathtaking lightness of your physical vessel. Notice how your breathing becomes completely effortless, because the agonizing weight of your history has been entirely annihilated. You are untouched by yesterday. You are completely unaffected by the Matrix's demand for a predictable personality. And as you stand in this expanded, majestic emptiness, realize that from this second forward, you can paint absolutely anything on this canvas. The struggle is completely over. The avatar is entirely dead. You are the infinite source. If your beautiful spirit feels the undeniable, staggering reality of this physical integration, if you feel the deep, heavy, unbreakable freedom of the blank slate perfectly alive in your chest right now, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Let this deliberate action serve as your physical anchor to this new, history-free reality. Leave a like on this transmission to signal your absolute, flawless resurrection to the unified field. And in the sacred, quiet space of the comments below, cast your unshakable mastery into the collective consciousness. Type these exact words. The mask is shattered. I step into the light. Rest entirely in this massive, radiant emptiness. You do not need to remember who you were. You only need to declare who you are. Draw your gentle, heavy awareness back from the blinding, formless expanse of the infinite canvas and let it settle very softly into the steady, powerful, unbroken rhythm of your physical heartbeat. Feel the profound, unshakable architecture of your own chest. Notice the absolute breathtaking absence of the mask. Notice the staggering, euphoric silence that has completely replaced the frantic, exhausting urge to defend your personality, to explain your history, and to perfectly recreate the terrified character you played yesterday. The desperate need to consult your memories before you make a move, to apologize for your expansion, and to wear the heavy, rusted clothes of the old matrix has been entirely washed away. There is only this exact, magnificent second, and you are entirely, perfectly unwritten. You are about to step back into the visible, moving world. You are about to rise from this quiet sanctuary, open your eyes, and walk back into the dense, loud timeline of your daily human existence. But you are not returning as the fragile, predictable avatar you once inhabited. You are not returning as the exhausted character, constantly triggered by the same mirrors and trapped in the same historical loops. You are returning as the blank slate. You are returning as the sovereign who has completely shattered the illusion of identity. Tomorrow, the physical sun will rise again. The unconscious matrix of the world will inevitably continue its frantic, demanding attempts to pull you back into your past. The people you pass will continue to exhaust their precious life force, desperately trying to find themselves, proudly displaying their traumas, and drowning in the exhausting cycle of a rigid personality. You will watch them completely surrender their godlike potential to the heavy illusion of history, constantly recreating a life they hate simply because it is familiar. But you will never again join them in the filing cabinet. When your 3D reality places a familiar trigger directly in your path in the days to come, when an old friend expects you to react the way you used to, or when the logical mind attempts to whisper, "But this is just who I am," you will not view it as a command. You will simply smile at the profound, flawless mechanics of the fading echo. You will close your eyes. You will completely drop the need to reference the past, and you will perfectly, instantly step forward into the staggering emptiness of your new dimension. You will walk through your days with the quiet, undeniable dignity of a creator who knows that they are not a noun. They are an infinite, unfolding verb. You will accomplish your tasks. You will interact with your loved ones, and you will navigate the dense physical plane, but you will do so from a state of total, unbroken amnesia. You will no longer endure your own limitations as permanent laws. You will completely saturate every silent, beautiful moment with the staggering confidence of a master who knows they were just born 5 seconds ago. You are entirely supported, and you are completely invincible in your formlessness. To ensure that this new, magnificent frequency of absolute, unrestricted creation does not simply fade away when the screen goes dark, we must perfectly anchor it into your physical reality. We must cast a final, quiet decree into the unified field, declaring your absolute sovereignty and your permanent resignation from the exhausting job of playing the old character. I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now. Do not do it out of habit. Let this profound, simple action be a silent, eternal vow to yourself. A promise that you will never again glue the shattered pieces of the old mask back together. A vow that you will forever trust the supreme, infinite emptiness of the blank slate and allow the universe to paint a masterpiece upon it. Leave a like on this final transmission to send a physical, undeniable signal of total identity shedding out into the deep. Let it be the heavy, unbreakable gravity of your awareness, telling the universe that you have completely stopped defending your history and you are entirely ready to be unrecognizable. And finally, to permanently seal this magnificent mastery of the physical world, journey into the sacred space of the comments below. Join the collective frequency of the masters who have also chosen to completely dissolve the illusion of their past today. Cast your simple, profound breath into the vastness by typing these exact words. The old avatar is dead. I am the blank slate. Type it slowly. Feel the absolute, undeniable truth of those words radiating from your fingertips, dissolving every last trace of the old timeline in your entire physical vessel. Breathe in the vast, unbroken reality of the light. Exhale the agonizing illusion of the character. You are completely whole. You are perfectly empty, and your beautiful, unshakable reality is finally entirely yours to invent. Rest well. The Matrix no longer has your name on file.